We are live already.
That's
We're
what I thought.
live.
It's
So
one
we're
o'clock.
just
I
gonna
was trying to tell
so
you.
we're just gonna like.
How are you? I love this.
Ooh, it's live.
Thank you.
That's so cute. That's live. Yeah, that's really good. You guys are fly up in here. Oh, and of course, but I'm going off of you. Yay, I love it. Oh, is this thing on? It's giving echo. Okay, I think we're better
I
now.
love this. Oh, I
Give me a
love
little auto tune.
right. Hoo. Miss Diddy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This is so amazing. I have to tell you all that Miss Diddy, as she is known, is someone that I have grown to know over the last couple of years, few years now.
Longer.
And and I have, thank you so much, Drew, long admired her work. She is someone who I first met, like, kind of, was hearing about her. I'm like, who is this Miss Diddy chick? And why she get to call herself Miss Diddy? Well, you know what? I learned very quickly that the reason why is because she literally is that chick. Oh, no, 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 no. She really is. Like, you need to know what's going on in LA. You need to know who's who in LA. You need to know, where to go. Miss Diddy can tell you. It actually just
Intro.
happened upstairs
Yes.
just a minute ago. So you know I'm telling the truth, right? Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't come from anywhere. Or just anywhere, I should say. It comes from your years of, honing your skill and working in the industry, which I know started out as a promoter. So I'd love to hear more about your start, or I know a little bit. Share with these guys.
Well, first of all, hello, you beautiful people. You guys are also fly here. I'm literally everyone's outfit. I'm like, you guys are cool. The kicks, I want to work here. Yeah, everyone affectionately calls me Miss Diddy. They've been calling me that since high school. They call me Diddy. And so, born and raised here in Los Angeles. I love being from this beautiful city. And so, any people that are here that are from somewhere else, I hope that you guys are having a great experience here in this great. Look at this city. Look at the view. Yeah, but it's really, the city of milk and honey. People come here to make their dreams come true, right? And if you work hard, you can be very successful at that. So I'm grateful to be able to still be successful in a city that I actually was born and raised in. But yeah, so that's into why community ends up being so important to me. But started my journey really as in promotions prior to becoming a promoter. And so I just did the natural kind of trajectory for my life. In school, I was always really active in things and then, creating clubs or, fashion shows and dance teams and sororities that I don't remember the names of and all these type of things. So yearbook staff and, so I was always pretty active and social with people. So when I went into promotions, it's when Kanye started Good Music. I went into promotions over there in the music industry. I have a lot of music in my family, so I grew up around it. And growing up in LA, really have a great advantage to grow up around. Whether it's people that are building their life to become celebrities or whatever the case may be. So I've been there at the inception of a lot of people's careers that are some of people's favorite people. And it, no, but there's only one Hollywood in the world, and that's what people, I think don't think about and don't understand how powerful that is. And that was something that I knew was a very powerful tool in my business is being that there's only one Hollywood in the world, and it's where everybody wants to end up coming to. So, yeah.
So, I mean, I find it really interesting that you would go down the road of being a promoter, because I don't know if anybody knows much about being a promoter, but it's not really a female driven industry, right? It's more of a
Yeah.
male dominated industry. So, what kind of challenges did you face while working in that field?
I ended up I always say I'm retired from it, but it's not. You never really once you become, a promoter. It takes a special type of person and personality to deal with that many type of personalities and that many people to manage that many relationships and to be good at it. It's a real true talent, and so it is. I had a very very great career. I won't say had, but still as a promoter, and I worked with really great guys that were good to me. And so the challenges I faced would really be I'm a really in tune person, so I can look at someone and be like, I was always taken serious, and that was something that was important to me. But I led with that. I led with that in every space of my career. Like I'm not playing no games. Don't think I'm playing games before you find out, and that find out is the bad part. But yeah, I my challenges more so would be my own internal challenges and figuring out how am I navigating this to turn into something bigger, something greater. What are the moments I'm taking to say, oh, I want to make that moment bigger, right? For my career. Or should I take that opportunity? Should I not take that opportunity? And it was moving fast. When you're a promoter, I had like probably weekly, three huge weekly events. Time is going like this because before you know it, you're getting ready for it again and again and again. And it's easy to get caught up in that cycle without stopping and thinking, hey, what is the next moment for my career? So I was blessed to have really great guys that I worked with, but there are some challenges when dealing with say other men that didn't know me and thought that I was like just a woman. For me, it's like, no, 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 boo boo. I ain't just a woman. No.
This we know because you are a fabulous woman. She isn't just a woman, she is a powerhouse. So at some point, you decided to make the transition,
Yeah.
and start really focusing on, you know, brands and brand partnerships. What made you decide to make that transition, and how did you make that transition?
It had to happen, right? And so for me personally, I always only care to be the best at everything that I do. No matter what it is, I want to be number one always and be the best at everything I do. It's what I demand of myself, that level of excellence. So being a business person, like my career, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a business person. That was what needed to happen, right? So I was always, to me, the key in a lot of things in business is people to people. We talk about this, and it's person to person. And I was fortunate to make good relationships with people, to do good business with people. And what you learn is like people move to other places. So someone's at this company for some years, and then now there's at a whole nother company. I have so many people that I was like, okay, Diddy, I'm over here now. Let's work together over here. Let's do this. And so that's how a lot of my business came about. And for me as a business person, retention was always really important, not just doing business with you once. That's the short end of the stick. You got to build relationships and manage them and do right by people. And that was always how I was able to get to brands. But brands, I believe that if you build it, they'll come. So if you're doing the hard work and you're doing the work, there'll be somebody in house like a you
Right.
that'll say, no, we need to be in business with Miss Diddy. She's killing it out there. She's doing her thing. Here's her framework. Look what she's doing. So like the yous are really important in those bigger brands, and I have the use in a lot of the brands. So like even my partnership with Doritos, PepsiCo, which I've had for some years now, and they've been
Now we dropping the brand. You hear what she's saying? Okay.
they're trying to drop no
I love
names.
it though. I love it.
But that partnership is really near and dear to my heart because there's an amazing couple incredible women that work in that company, Kim Scott and Christina in particular, that they always advocated for me inside of the building as well. And so that made me go harder outside of the building when we do work together to always put more than my best foot forward.
Right.
My whole team, they know I'm a crazy person. I'm OCD. I'm anal. Pay attention to everything. I see everything. The way that I'm able to see details is actually a little scary. My team is always like, if they go somewhere before me, they're like, y'all better get all this, and that, because she about to come in here and rain on this place, you know? And so that was always important to me to do really, really good work and really impactful work. And to also bring things to the table because say like my partnership with Doritos or any other brands that I work with, bringing things to the table is what's important. Like, hey, I think we should creatively do this. Oh, did he? Okay. That's the trust being built and they know that I'm gonna kill it, you know?
I love that. And I think you mentioned some really key things there, definitely about relationships,
Yeah.
but also, just having the ability to bring things to the
Sure.
table. It's such an important thing. I know in my own career even that sometimes, there are challenges that come up
Sure.
and we learn some hard lessons along the way.
Yeah.
What are some of the hard lessons that you've learned?
I'm a young black woman that came from inner city, beautiful city. I'm from Compton, but still inner city nonetheless, underserved communities. I'm from a broken home. I'm a product of a broken home. I'm a product of, you know, you know, growing up in a way that has some trauma to it, you know what I mean? And so what happens is you naturally want to help everybody. It's in my heart. Like I didn't become this successful as a black woman to not help the little black girls that are under me, the brown girls that are under me, the brown boys that are under me, black. And not just saying just in color, I'm just saying I know the opportunities that are not given. So I didn't become who I am to not do that. So that's always been my mission, but there's always two parts of that because not everybody is ready for that.
Right.
And so those challenges come in where am I listening to my heart or am I listening to my mind and business? Because this person may be detrimental to my company, but I want to help this person so bad, right? Because I want to be what I didn't have coming up in certain times in my life. And so I think for me, that's one of the hardest challenges is landing me in lawsuits with people and things that a lot of people don't talk about. You know, the glamorous side of entrepreneurship. Yeah, it's fun. I dress fly. I look good. Like, yeah, that's great. But there's a lot of challenges that come with that emotionally because when your heart is for people and you're passionate and you are living and driven by purpose, then there's things that come with that, you know, and that's the tough side. Me, the most challenging side is that emotional component. Like, God, I gotta let this person go because I gave them all these chances. They don't get it. They're not growing at the pace they really need to grow at. I've given them chances, and now I'm doing all this work, and it's a lot. It's draining. So probably that. Of course, there's other challenges you want to learn as much as you can in business, right? Because one thing they don't tell you is, yeah, you can make money, but you better pay your taxes. You better put that money away. If you made $100, you didn't make $100.
That's right.
You made about 50 out here. Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? So, those business aspects that I think are important for young entrepreneurs to learn too.
So what's interesting, I just saw something today that this speaks to. It's about, and I love to see that you've got someone that, people that work with you.
Oh yeah.
But a little fact that I learned today, a little stat, was that 96% of Black businesses
Mhm.
have, it's only one person working in that business. There
Yeah.
is no scale.
Yeah.
It's just the owner.
Yeah.
That's it, which makes it challenging
Very challenging.
for us to grow. So I applaud you for, having the foresight and understanding of how important it is to scale. And I love the fact that you're bringing people,
Yeah.
with you. I think a quote that I absolutely live by is that it is important for you to lift as you climb.
Sure.
And that is something that I consistently seen you
Yeah.
do in your community and
Mhm.
outside of it. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
Um, Speaking of community,
Yeah.
because your relationships aren't just with brands and
Sure.
talent and artists, but you've got relationships with politicians,
Yeah.
some important ones
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
important communities. I would love to know how you started working with the mayor of Compton
Mhm.
and some of the things that you've done with her.
Yeah, Mayor Asia Brown, she's we have another mayor in now, Mayor Emma, love her too. But Asia's definitely she's my sister. And we had a mayor in prior to that, but Asia came in and really just made a path forward that we hadn't seen probably ever in the city. Compton's a charter city, so it's a major city. It's a charter city, meaning there's a lot of rules that they make on their own, and it's a major city. It's over 100,000 residents, and so it's a pretty large city at that. But when Asia came in, she it was important to her to include those who have came from our city that have really made it, and we have a amazing list of people. Like, oh, Dr. Dre, of course, is from Compton. Kendrick Lamar, Anthony Anderson, Ava DuVernay.
Is doing it.
Yeah, we pop in. Brandon Jennings, he's a basketball player. Oh, I know I'm tripping. Wait, Kevin Costner used to live in.
Stop.
You gotta look it up. It's
Kevin
hilarious.
Costner in Compton.
Hilarious.
Oh,
That's his set.
wow.
So we have a great list from the city, and so she came in and gave Kendrick the key, and Serena. Oh my God, Serena and Venus. What's wrong with me? Under her leadership, there was the partnership with Serena and the partnership with Dr. Dre and things like that. And so her and I just really connected very closely. And for me, um, it's important for me to serve. So, I go to church still in Compton. My church, Greater Zion, my pastor, Michael Fisher. I do everything for my church community as well. And whatever in whatever capacity needed. And so with Asia, she had two terms. We won them, of course. And so we it was I handle the partnerships in the city. So say during Christmas and holiday, it's always important for us to give back, to feed the elderly, feed the community, bring toys in. So I had Mattel come in and partner with us to provide toys, probably 3 to 5 thousand families. Had Champion, the clothing line, come in, provide clothes for our teens. Um, I mean, so many great partnerships for that. But overseeing that is really been important to me also too during the pandemic, which was really important to me, is a lot of people didn't think about the elderly that were in their homes, the not just their homes, the senior citizen homes. So they couldn't see anybody, so a lot of times that's what keeps elderly people alive, is seeing their family and things like that, if anybody's ever had family in a senior citizen home. So they were, so we went down, we fed them, and we got them masks. I provided masks for all the senior citizen homes. I had Henry Mass come in and partner with me for that. And so that was really important to me too, so that they can stay safe to the best of our ability during that time. So yeah, those things off the top of my head.
What do you think that brands can learn from partnering with community?
I think what happens with brands is that they're sitting in the office behind a computer. No disrespect to anybody sitting in the office behind a computer, but they're not going outside to engage with people person to person. It's really not outside of their network. And so if you're not experiencing life and real life and seeing a need for the people, then emotionally I think it's tough to connect with that, right? To say, hey, we actually need to do this. See, me, I always go back. I go to my city all the time. I don't live in Compton anymore, but I do. I have family that still live. I have family. I live in Inglewood, and and same. So when I see a need, I think that's important to tackle. And I think brands are so far, they're disassociated, they're not attached, they're not outside in the way of going to party, but like, they're not outside. And I think it makes it tough for them to understand the importance of staying in a community. Also, definitely black and brown communities are the wave in the for everything cultural. Everything comes from us. It's just what it is. And so if you're not getting it at the inception of it, in the beginning of it, it's like it's watered down. And so the authenticity, that's what happens when you see campaigns and you're like, "Oh, that didn't land well." Who was in that room saying push the button on that campaign? Or we seen. I think it was Kylie Jenner got in trouble with one of the. Maybe it was. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, sorry, Pepsi, but it's Pepsi. But much to it. Like, who was in the room and said, "Yeah, let's push the button." That went through 30 people, 40 people, for everybody to say we're going. So that's why it's important to have true diversity in your company. And also, what's tough, and I don't want to get in trouble for saying this, but it's just one of the truths. Diversity has to look like all races and men and women. What happens, I think, in companies is it's a man's world, and I love it. I'm fine with that. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing without a woman in it. So we know the song. But being that it's a man's world, I think diversity sometimes they think to add. It's not like adding all the colors of the rainbow that you need to add for it to land. Because if I sit and have a conversation with my incredible counterpart that's from India and I don't know much about that culture and now I'm learning. So now I'm like, oh, let's add that in. That's important to highlight that. How can we showcase that? How can we, give homage to that? And you got to be outside engaging with the community to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And I also feel like, there's a lot to be said about intersectionality,
Sure.
which you've actually hit on that note without even realizing it as you're speaking about yourself, being a woman working in a man's world,
Yeah.
but then being a Black woman
Yeah.
working in a man's world, but then being a Black woman who comes from an underserved
Sure.
community working in the man's world. There is
Yeah.
just so many different little segments that there are to be considered
Yes.
when we're doing things. But I find that I often say that there's unity in diversity because as many different diversity segments that you have,
Yeah.
it actually brings people together because they feel as though they are, sometimes siloed and in a world by
Yes.
themselves. And
Yes.
people who are in a world by themselves can kind of cluster.
Yes.
And it's an important thing. Interesting. Okay, so obviously with you being from Compton and bringing brands to Compton, and that's got to be really interesting. I know Pepsi has been
Yeah.
definitely supporting the Black community for umpteen years now,
Yeah.
but I know that some brands are not as open
Slow.
to it. Yeah, they're a
Yes.
little slow to it. Some brands don't even realize that that is their audience, right?
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, but once they do kind of figure that out, what sometimes there are misconceptions, and I'd love
Yeah.
to kind of tap into what you think some of the biggest misconceptions that brands have about the Black community.
That we don't spend money because we're the number one consumer.
We spend it.
We spend it
Yes.
sometimes to our detriment, but we
Yes.
spend it.
Yes. Yes.
It's spent.
It's spent.
Um, that is a big misconception. Also, that we're not luxury.
Hello.
And I say that I used to,
That's a
God, I'm about to
huge
get
misconception.
people in trouble. So I used to manage for I used to work for Hennessy and managed all the accounts here in market here, and it was during a time where so there for cognac brands, cognac in general, there's VS, which is very special. It's the first level. VSOP is very special. Opal, that's normally that's privileged for Hennessy. Next, it's XO. Next, it's Paradis, then Richard. And so VS in France was in cognac France was running out. So the consumption was so high that it was running out. And so the concept was to do the trade up. So the trade up would be to now push privilege, which is the next level up from VS. And it was our team was the diverse side of the team. And we're in this large conference. And I remember them talking about the trade up. And I'm reading between the lines and what's being said. And it's really the idea that they believe that we couldn't represent the luxury side of things. Now, this is years ago. And then I'm looking at my counterparts. I'm like, He owns a business. He's a college grad. He graduated from Morehouse. She did it. I'm like, and me can't keep quiet. I just can never keep quiet. So I'm just like, hey, I'm reading between the lines here, and it sounds as if you guys are trying to say that we don't understand luxury, first of all, and that we don't live it because that's not the truth. Because at this time, I'm like, I just traded in my Benz for my Porsche. And they call me by my last name when I walk in. So I'm confused as to where you're trying to create a narrative that we don't understand luxury. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the misconception because we have a lot to offer. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put my sneakers on, but I'm also put my little Jimmy Choos on. I'm put my Chucks on, but I'm also put my heels on. So we have that we're not that diverse and have that much variety to our lives.
It's funny that you talk about your Chucks and your Chews because one of the things I love about you is that you have the ability to kind of live in multiple worlds
Absolutely.
authentically,
Yeah, that's who
which
I
is
am.
so important,
Yeah, that's who
right?
I am.
Um, so I want to shift the conversation just a little bit,
Okay.
and talk about, you know, some topics that are near and dear to both of us.
Yes.
It's been almost 4 years since the George Floyd murder, and on Saturday I will be walking in the Trayvon
Mm,
Martin walk and talk.
yeah.
It's been 12 years since Trayvon has been killed,
Yes.
and one of the things that came out of both of those incidents is the desire to start diversity initiatives at companies, the
Finally.
major companies, right? Finally, it's about
Finally.
time. Um, but funny enough, like over the years, time passes and we notice that the focus on diversity is waning,
Yeah.
right? Um, I'd love for you to share with me what you think companies need to know about the importance of these initiatives.
We have to bridge this gap. We gotta bring it. It has to come in closer, right? The wealth gap. And the only way to do that is to be intentional about really having a diverse company. Um the I think the problem is when people don't see it as a problem to them, right? So if it doesn't affect their wealth gap or them or their bottom line or their what their focus is in life, then it makes it tough for us to be able to climb in there and say, hey, I'm important too. And what my community has went through is important too. And we can only do this if we have allies and we have help. There's no way for us to bridge this wealth gap without having allies across the board because it's not a woe is me, but it's just a lot of things have happened to our communities. You know what I mean? And so even down to schooling, redline, like, a lot of people don't know this, but like you can get in trouble for not going to school in your community. So if I grew up in Compton, but the better school is technically in Bel Air, I'm not even allowed to go to that school technically legally because there was put in place red line for our inner city communities to only have to stay there. So I'm not getting the education that I could deserve or rubbing shoulders with the other kids that could end up being my life friends and I could end up being hired by my best friend Katie's dad that owns the company over here and now start my career in life, right? So instead of starting in the red, I can start in the black or in the green. Um and that's what needs to be understood, but I think conversations is the only thing that's going to help those companies understand because it's not in their heart. Like it's just not.
It's these kinds of conversations,
Yeah,
these continued conversations
sure.
that, by the way, hello, it's Black History Month,
It is.
and we're having this very important conversation now, but it needs to happen even outside of Black History
Yeah.
Month,
Yeah.
right? We need to continue the conversation and not just within these walls here, but also in
Outside.
the outside where it
Yeah.
really matters. And we have to take it to people who are not used to hearing this conversation because
Yeah.
how else can you create change,
I have
right?
those uncomfortable conversations with my dear friends in business. that are other ethnicities and that have higher level positions because yeah, you guys look at me and respect me and I say, hey, yeah, I deserve a chance, but there's 30 other Miss Diddy's from Compton that also deserve the same chance that I deserve to sit at this table, to walk in these doors, to be recognized as such. And so and that's why I always say where I'm from. There's not a conversation you can Google that I've ever had, no interview, no Access Hollywood. I'm saying, yeah, from Compton, California, because it's I'm proud of it, but it's also important to understand this is what it looks like as well. Because misconception, as you see, like sometimes you think inner city communities, this is the representation. No, there's misrepresentation from every place, you know?
Yeah, but you don't always have to be a product of where you're from. So even though Compton is a beautiful place, right? But it is underserved.
Yeah.
You have risen above that.
But I'm still a product of that.
You are a product.
And that's the reason why I've had to work harder than the person to the right of me that maybe got the contract over me, right? But has never worked as hard as I've worked. I never have put the demand on my team to work the way they have to work so that people can see it. You know, my team knows like don't you can't even make a mistake.
Right.
And that's unfortunate because you should be able to.
Right. So these big brands and their executives that want to do these big events.
Yeah.
Do you ever take any of them down to Compton? You show them around?
Yeah. Oh my God. What you mean?
So, like-
And I was just like, yeah. That's the first thing oh no, no, what? So Doritos, they have a program called Change Makers and they highlighted me for this program. We did a national commercial, the whole thing. And it was of course about my story and everything like that. Okay, you guys want to come film here? I'm taking you to South Central. Everybody game? Yeah. Okay, let's go. And that's what I did. I took one of the presidents over at Pepsi. He's not there anymore. Took him down to South Central. Like, no, we're going. And this is, because this is who I am, and you're not going to sit in my face and understand my whole story. You know what I mean? Because this is my whole story, and I have younger ones that are looking up to me to be as authentic as I can present myself to open the door for them to be able to do the same thing. I didn't graduate from college, but I tell all my youngs, go to college, graduate if you can. If that's what your heart desires and if you're great at school. I dropped out of school. I didn't have the opportunity, the luxury, or the support to be able to finish college. I had to get to it, and that's a lot of young girls and guys stories that are from underserved communities, like are from broken homes or whatever. My mom moved when I was 17 and I was on my own and that was it. And so I didn't have the luxury to say, oh, I would have loved to go to Spelman or something, you know what I mean? And pledge and do all of these things. And like, but I couldn't. So I had to get to it. And so I understand hard work from a whole different place than maybe somebody that next to me doesn't understand.
That was deep. Yep. I love that. What's next for Miss Diddy?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. I know you got something cooking.
I don't know. Well, it's Grammy weekend this weekend, and it's driving me insane. My, no, you guys have no clue. It's like right now, my phone. I can't even. I can't. It's just insane. I've some really a Buster Rhymes birthday party tomorrow. Is today Thursday? Oh Jesus, cover me. Tomorrow, I have to deal with that. Buster was calling me. I have to deal with that when I leave. Have a really big music night on Saturday that we're doing with Tank and D Nice and Adam Blackstone, who's he's the biggest music director in music. Just to come Emmys for Rihanna's Super Bowl performance. He did their Dre and Snoop's Super Bowl performance last year. He's on the way doing Usher's now. So it's a lot of moving parts when doing that because then everyone is like, call Diddy. She'll make sure it gets done. I'm like, okay, the 50th call. Oh my God. That's why I charge the money. No,
Wow. So you've definitely got a lot of stuff going on and coming down the pipeline. I want to play a little game with you.
let's play a game.
Right, let's play a game. And guess what?
Wait, are you guys good? Am I boring y'all? I was just about to ask you. I'm boring y'all.
They're gonna. Oh, sure, yeah.
Sure. Yes. Yes, 100%. When I tell you, always follow your gut. The best relationship you could ever have outside of your relationship with your creator is yourself. People get it wrong. Get this relationship perfect, like to the best of your ability. Talk to yourself when you wake up in the morning, when you're going to sleep. Figure out where place you are, because then you'll make those decisions from that space, not from a desperate space, which we all get in situations where we're up against a wall or things like that. That's life. But I'm saying learn yourself to the best of your ability and always trust yourself and follow your gut. You know, even when you think you're not sure if you know. So yeah, like you said, later on you'll be like, in hindsight, you're like, oh, that was the best thing. And I was gonna do that, but now that's all crumbled or whatever the case may be. Please follow it. That's I follow my unction in everything that I do. Everything. And that's why even saying what's next, I really don't know. Like wherever God tells me to go, that's where I'm gonna go. So please follow, please, always. Like I begging you, as a young girl, like please. I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect you. I just know I'm a little older than you. I know I'm a little older than you, but I'm just saying, please. Yeah.
Ani Mayo is like one of our, consider her, and I told her this just the other day, one of our rising stars.
Rising star, yes. Your dog got a
I've definitely said that to her.
come on, rising star.
Yeah, I love working with her. It's been a while, but I've watched her grow
I
in
love
this
that.
company, and I love that for her. But I can't just let her have a question.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be fair. So
Yes.
somebody else, anyone else.
Hey, LA girl.
So being somebody that relates to your background. Thank you.
Come on.
Well, being someone that relates to your background personally, like the way you came up and everything, what advice would you give someone like me as far as like entrepreneurship and getting out and starting your own business?
Girl, don't do it. No. I, hold on. No, if that's something you really want to do, understand that you're going to go through. You're gonna you guys can hear me anyway. I got some lipstick on. You're gonna go through peaks and valleys that you never could imagine. You're gonna go through peaks and valleys that you can't even figure out before you get there. It's gonna test every part of you. So if you're not ready and you're not mentally strong enough to say, all right, we rolling, I'm really jumping, don't do it just yet. That's the real, I'm being honest with you because that's what people don't talk about. But it's the most freeing experience I've ever had in my life. So on another end, 100%, I've been able to be a part of we're writing our own history black history book right now. We're writing our own history book right now. What we used to study in school and here's your history book in history class. We're writing it now with what we're doing, the moves we're making, the moments we're having, the impactful moments that we're creating in our lives and our careers. So all I would say is you'll also never be fully ready. So it's not a thing of, all right, I've got all my ducks in a row and I'm ready. That's not how this thing works either. So you just have to really be mentally strong, gear yourself up and say, all right, I'm sturdy, let's go. And know that there's going to be things that come your way and that you do have the ability to tackle everything that's in front of you. You will. You're welcome.
Another rising star. That's our
Oh, for
Shanti.
sure. Yes.
And
And she's from LA.
I love that. You know what's funny, just as a little side note, one of the projects that Ashanti came on board to do is to focus on our initiative, Ben Cares.
Okay.
I will be talking to you about that soon.
Yes.
And so
I like the
one of the
sound of
very
it.
first projects that we did was around getting backpacks together
Oh, I
for
love that.
kids going back to school. And we actually donated our backpacks from the Los Angeles office to which Crenshaw High School.
Oh, I love
so
it.
you know the little ones, you big use the little
Yes.
football.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I
we
love
donated
that. I
our
love that.
backpacks to them. So this is something that we try to do. I'm trying to follow.
Franchise a
footsteps.
great
Trying to
great
follow
principle.
Yeah.
It's a great principle.
We definitely want to do more activations like that.
Have
so I
to.
will definitely connect with you on
Yes.
that. But as I was saying before, does anyone else have any questions for Miss Diddy?
You
Y'all
ain't got
better
no
ask her.
questions
I'm
for
trying
me.
to
No, I'm just
tell
kidding.
you. Kristen Ruby.
Hi, Kristen. I love your hair. You are so cute.
Adorable.
Sorry, they need to be able to hear me. Love to hear. I loved hearing what you said about lifting as you climb. I think that's really inspiring. I'm curious. The other side of that coin is you have worked with younger, people on your staff, younger, diverse people.
Mhm.
What you've learned from them and what they bring to the
Ooh.
table. What they value that's different. Maybe that surprised you.
That's an incredible question. First of all, I want to say this too. Thank you to everyone in the room that are of different descent than black and brown and to listen in on these conversations. Sometimes I don't know if it's uncomfortable or not, but I want to acknowledge that because I've had great conversations with my counterparts that are not black and brown. And sometimes I always tell them, thank you, even if it's uncomfortable, right? Because it's all coming from a place of love. So I want to say that too because we're having a lot of these diverse conversations and I just appreciate when someone sits in and learns from it with an open heart. So I do want to say that too. And that's an incredible question. One thing that I'm honestly obsessed with my team, like the people that I have on my staff, and I listen to them. Now, I'm a Leo, I'm a know-it-all, but I do listen to them. You know what I mean? Another. If I'll lean on them so much because I think they're brilliant. And a lot of my team that are younger than me, they're so brilliant and so creative. I'll sit there and just listen and I'm like, oh my God, I never would have thought that. So what I have learned is to listen. I've made decisions based, like big, big, big decisions based off of them saying, no, you need to do this. All right, she said I gotta do it. I've made we made some monumental things happen off of those type of decisions. My marquee event for my company is called Toast to Black Hollywood, and it happens during BET Awards weekend, and it's a staple event during that weekend. It's a huge event, and it's the biggest event my company puts on for my company, and so
Sponsored by.
huh.
Sponsored by.
Spot, spot. Okay, Doritos is a partner on it. UBS Bank is a partner on it. They sponsor. BT is a partner on it. All my spirit partners like Duce, which is Jay Z's cognac and Ace of Spades and all those things. So yeah, we do have good partners. Thank God. But we're looking for more. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So, but I was in the air. I wasn't gonna do it, and it's one of those things that are. It's really important for me to do it, but it's a lot. It takes a lot out of me because I'm such a perfectionist, and it's hours. So it's like every detail has to be perfect. And so I really was not gonna do it because I had surgery the year before that and I was still healing from I had my fibroids removed if anybody knows what that means. And it took a lot out of me for that healing process. So I was like, I just don't have the capacity to do this. And actually, Ananza and Camille, one of my other team members, we were sitting down. I was having a creative meeting with them, but just telling them I don't think it ain't gonna work out this year. And they were like, they said something really profound. They said, you're just looking at the work right now. You're looking at how much work you have to do, and you're not looking at the fact that it's a privilege that you're able to do things like this.
Wow.
And I was like, exactly. Clap for her, I said, woo! That's what and that was the minute I made the decision. I actually have the video. We were like film, like just we do a lot of our BTS and stuff like that. And I'll send it to you. But that's what they said, and I was like, it was so powerful because it is true. Like objectively looking, like I'm privileged to sit in the space that I sit in and to be able to do what I do and to inspire the way I inspire. And yes, it is hard work, but where much is given, much is required. And that was the reason why I said we have to do it. And it was one of I mean, it's big every year, but it was one of our best years, huh? And I was like, it's insane.
And you actually, thank you for bringing that event up because you actually, yeah, you actually have brought a lot of really big names in Black entertainment and toasted them,
Yeah.
right? Can you share with us some of the folks that you have honored in the
Be
past?
forgetting.
Come on.
Ananza. No, I'm just kidding. I typically try to do a whole scale of all like from all different arenas. So I have honored Asia Brown. I honored Baron Davis, Matt Barnes, Lou Will. Okay, so those are basketball players. I'm trying Kenny Burns, who is my mentor. Bozeman St. John. What? Eva Marcel, Wendy Osefo. So since we're doing Housewives, Cynthia Bailey, Lil Rel Howery, who is my dear, dear friend, big actor. Um, ton of musicians. What's wrong with me? Eric Bellinger. I mean, so many really great names. Lauren London. Um, hmm? Oh yeah, Okay, yeah, Jay Fonz. Yeah. Right. Uh, God, I always go blank on. I'm just looking at people's faces too. Dorian Renaud. He's a big CEO. He has a beauty brand called Butter. Dear friend of mine, very, very, very close friend of mine. And he went off on me because I didn't honor him the year before. Stopped talking to me. And then I said, okay, come this year then. So it's one of those events that has became special to the culture too, which I'm very proud of.
And that's what I love. And that's one of the reasons why I asked you to start sharing some of those names because, I
Bad at
can't
dropping names.
No, but I can't impress upon it enough how much you are the culture.
Thank you.
And I think that when you start talking,
I want to clap. Y'all better stop.
when you talk about the importance of culture and what it means, and particularly Black culture, like like you said, we are at the pulse of it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna play a fun game. There will be audience participation.
Yes.
There will not be any prize. Well, maybe I
I
might
was
give you
just
a
thinking, I was like,
buck or so.
dang,
No,
we
no,
need
we
like
have
a
some.
prize.
We have a program that we started here recently called Ben Bucks. I know you
love a
love
buck.
saying Ben, right?
Love a buck.
And so maybe I'll give a couple of. I got a couple of Ben Bucks. I'll give them out. All right. So here we go.
Baller.
This is gonna be like a little speed round.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I just need you to be really quick on your feet, which I know you are.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Ready? All right.
I always want to do a game.
And I always wanted to host a game show. So there we go, right? Okay. Give us two truths and a lie.
Oh, wait, I'm not good at that.
Have to guess what the lie is.
Never been good at that game. Two truths and a lie. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's stupid. Okay. Oh, I'm not good. I think I'll just give it away. No, that's stupid. That's too far off. Wait, this is a hard game. Give me two truths and a lie. You give me two truths and a lie.
Okay. All right, let's see. I actually just did this the other day. I once had lunch with Oprah Winfrey. That's one thing that you can figure out. I've jumped out of a plane. And let's see. My favorite thing to do is cooking. What's the lie?
You don't like to cook.
I love to cook.
That's what I thought though. But it's too obvious. The jumping out the plane is obvious. Because I feel like you would have had lunch with Oprah. I'm just not good at the game at all. You see what I'm saying? No, we gotta move on. I'm coming back with this game and I'm gonna have it. Yeah.
All right, we got another one for you.
Wait, so what was it? The jumping out the plane, right?
Jump out of a plane? Do I look like I'm a jump out?
That was gonna be my lie. That's why I was like, oh, that's too far off.
It is a lie.
Oh,
okay. If you had to choose only one artist to listen to for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Drake.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Poppy for sure.
All right, here's another one. IG, Snap, or TikTok?
IG all day long.
Why?
I'm a millennial. Like,
Yeah.
Of course I. No, I'm kidding. I'm a millennial. Of course I choose IG.
All right, here's a tough one. Clippers or Lakers?
I'm not a fan of anything sports wise. No, I'm not good. I don't know I have friends that play. I don't know when they're in season, where they're playing, nothing. So I'm gonna go with the Lake Show. Okay. Okay. I what? Yes or not? It's duh? It's duh. Okay. Big duh. Okay.
Now, all things music. We are coming up on the biggest night in music.
Yes.
So I want to know, who's your pick for best rap album? We've got Drake and 21 Savage.
Mm,
We've got Metro Boomin.
mm,
We've got Travis Scott.
mm,
We've got Killer Mike.
mhm.
And we've got Nas.
That's tough.
Who's-
I would like Metro Boomin to win. I think he does. I just think it'd be good for him to win. It's good. But it sucks because when you are number one, like say a Drake, then people are always rooting for somebody else. When it's like, dang, but I worked so hard to be number one. Why y'all? But I think it'd be good for Metro Boomin too. And he just did this whole orchestra and with his album. I thought that was incredibly creative.
Brilliant.
It was so brilliant, and it was a culture moment that I haven't really seen too much. They recently just DJ Clark Kent, who's a dear friend of mine, just did Biggie's they did a live thing in Paris. So I think that was super beautiful for music. So I would say Metro Boomin. Who you pick?
Well, I'm going for Metro Boomin too. Actually for the same reason, but slight twist. I think it's important for us to give credit to young artists that are making like changes and being innovative in the way that they are presenting their art. And Metro Boomin is definitely the one who I've seen do
For
that
sure.
this year. So yeah, that's who I'm going for. All right, so that was our speed game. I'm gonna let you off the hook for two truths and a lie.
I'm coming back with a vengeance.
But yeah, well, she's gonna come back.
I gotta
I'm so
figure out how to
sure.
play that game.
But before you leave, Miss Diddy, I would love for you to give us like one final thought, one final blessing on what you think is most important about our culture
Yeah.
that everybody else in the world needs to know.
Um, I'm gonna say this word, and I don't want it taken lightly because it's a very serious word. But we're very resilient, and our ability to be resilient in the face of so much and still um be able to create, still have such a level of demand and expectancy on us that is far greater than anyone else, and to also be overshadowed and underappreciated, and to still be resilient in that. Um, so often times it's like we may need support or love or having a moment. It's like, you're tough, you're strong. One thing I started to make sure I'm vocal about, stop calling me strong. Because first of all, I didn't ask for that title. And I don't want to be called the strong Black woman, even though I am. And that's what people don't really understand, because then that leaves me no room to not be strong at any time. Like now when I'm not having strong moments, you're strong. I just told you I'm not I'm strong right now, So resilience, that's something that we have that is, unless it's in you and who you are, like you really don't understand what it takes to even get to those points. Even sometimes to just get up and get to it, you know, um, to work with your own thoughts and work through your own mind and your own insecurities and feelings. I recently did an interview and everybody was going crazy on me because I said all of us women are insecure. They're like, we're not insecure. I'm like, you're the main woman. We all are. We all are as people. We that is something we'll always deal with. We were born into a world of sin, so that doesn't mean you're not confident. Doesn't mean you're not strong. Doesn't mean that you're not that you don't love yourself. Just sometimes I don't feel my best. Sometimes I'm fearful. Sometimes and those are all moments of insecurity, which is okay. But that resilience kicks in, and I gotta say that I'm happy that I have it, and that's something that our culture definitely has. Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming and really sharing these gems. I know these folks are too.
Hope so.
Really appreciative.
Thank you. You guys are cool. Aren't they great?
So this is the first of we've got two panels this month. The
Nice.
next one will be around Pride, Black Pride in the creative
That.
space. So we've got a lot of
I can help y'all with that now.
Coming in and talking about that. So we're really looking forward to that. We've got a number of different things that we're doing around Black History Month. We're definitely honoring and paying patronage to small Black businesses, restaurants
that.
in the Los Angeles area, Provo, Utah, where we have an office,
Oh, I love
and
that.
also in New York. So we've got so much coming up, not just this month during Black History Month, not just next month during Black
Yeah.
History Month, but every single month you will see us talking about,
Yes.
focusing on, and creating opportunities for inclusion and belonging at Ben. So thank you
I
so
love
much,
it.
everyone, for joining us.
Thank you. You guys have to do serving spoon in Inglewood.
Do service in Inglewood.
Serving spoon. The restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. You guys are so cool about the big old dog.
Yeah, I was like, for me.
That was the best.
That was really great.
And you guys